Hello and welcome back to Why Create. I'm your host, David Hay. Today we are meeting with Mitch Wilson, an indie singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist from Portland whose sound bridges jazz-rooted rhythm, Broadway poise, and sleek electro-pop production. He writes, performs, and records everything in his own home studio. This episode is the first of a 3-part series featuring Mitch, so make sure to stay tuned and follow the podcast so you don't miss out on the upcoming parts. Without further ado, here is Mitch Wilson.
My name is Mitch Wilson, and I live in the Pacific Northwest. I make indie pop. Yeah. Thanks for finding me.
Oh, of course. Well, it's a really fun thing for me to do is just scroll on TikTok and look at all the artists. And you popped up, and I really liked your music, especially Secondhand Emotion. I went through your Spotify and stuff. That one's a really good song. I love it.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
So, of course. So then you already answered the second one. What type of music do you create for? So, for the third one, for those who are just discovering you, how would you describe your unique sound compared to other people?
That's a great question. Short answer, indie pop. I kind of already said that, but I don't know. I grew up with dynamic albums, right? You know, we kind of live in this age of singles, and I kind of subscribe to that too. But I grew up in a time of an artist would have an album, and there was this beautiful soft ballad, and then there was a rockin' tune, and then there was an experimental track, and that's kind of the approach I take. So I hope this is answering your question, but there's just kind of a diversity in sound. Like that Secondhand Emotion track is. It's very upbeat and kind of poppy and fun and a little bit of a throwaway. It's just kind of like a fun summertime song, right?
Yeah.
But I have all kinds of other stuff. I have some songs that are kind of lo-fi. I have this great power ballad that I'm waiting on. More indie disco stuff, some kind of pop rock kind of flavors. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to answer that, compared to other people. It sounds like other people. It doesn't sound like other people. I hope my personality shines through a little bit.
Yeah, I really like that answer a lot. That's very interesting. Okay, so what's your earliest memory of music like hitting you in a meaningful way?
Oh yeah, that's that. Yeah, I got the questions. I kind of took a couple notes, but it's like my earliest memory of music hitting me was just me miming music in my living room, like miming a performance of like a Beatles tune or something, and pretending I was in front of the crowd. And that would just those are my earliest experiences of just feeling that and just idealizing and imagining that was the thing I was going to be doing.
I really like that, and that I relate to that a lot. That's what I would do. I actually do have a video of me as a little kid, uh, and I was listening to a song, and I had some buckets and like these, um, I think they were hangers or whatever, and I was drumming on them.
Do you remember
And
what song or what artist?
I wish I did.
Yeah.
I think it was more like a maybe King's Herald. That's a Christian a cappella band.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah.
Good.
I am familiar with them. Yeah.
Really, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love their
Beautiful.
music.
Yeah,
You're
beautiful.
right. They're amazing. And so that's the type of music my parents played for me as well as a lot of instrumental like orchestra pieces. A lot of classics is what I would listen to.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
mainly that King's Herald one, I relate to that video, think back on that all the time. So
That's
I
really
really
cool.
like that answer.
Yeah, it's
Um
those early experiences that really just set us on that path, right?
exactly. Yeah. In music, what is the most rewarding thing that you have experienced so far?
Yeah. So personally, it's kind of twofold. It's like some of the most rewarding experiences that I've had are really large. Like I was working on Broadway as a drummer for
Oh
a
my
few
goodness.
years,
Wow.
and so that experience of playing big shows, I've done a few tours with some other artists. That's so rewarding like working towards that goal, like, setting out on a path of being a musician and then kind of achieving that. Um, but sometimes the most rewarding part of listening to one of your favorite songs is like just feeling that deep emotion and expressing it, like, not to sound too sappy, but just like crying in the car for a second. Honestly, like you have a bad day, or you have a really good day, and you just put on that one song that you just immediately attached, and you're putting it on for a reason. You're gonna feel something, and so it's the big things and it's the really small things. It's the really everyday things that just do everything for you.
I was working on some so I have a lot of new ideas for this podcast that I'm working
Yeah.
on, and I finished this new episode. It's kind of a monologue sort of thing, and I was writing my own tracks for the background music, and I started to build something that was like to me really special, and I just listened to it over and over and over again. But it's like what you're saying, like ru- for me, and obviously for you, really rewarding thing about music is being able to connect the emotions, um, and whether the music connects with you or your music connects with someone else. I really do agree with that. That is very rewarding.
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
that's what we're striving for.
Yeah, I mean, it's the old, just kind of the old, maybe hokey thing of like we're all connected, we're all one, and music really just like puts a fine point on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when did you start writing songs? And do you remember the first one you ever finished?
Yeah. Um, I've written songs, just little silly little songs forever since I was maybe like 8 or 10 or something, and just making little songs. Um, I like made my first homemade album, I don't know, back in what, 2002 or something.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I was not even born yet.
yeah, well, this shows my age a little bit, but um, I remember my one of what I don't remember the first thing I ever wrote, but one of the first things I ever consciously remember writing is this. It was just like a little guitar ditty I wrote with my friend. We were just kind of goofing off and making like just kind of sounds with our mouths, and it was called Maku, and we would just like say Maku over and over again and kind of sing it, and it was just like quasi like Dave Matthews kind of gibberish guitar with a
Hmm.
guitar riff.
Wow.
um, but it was really like, fun for the sake of music, for the sake of fun, and just kind of pure like we enjoy this. There's no like purpose. It was back when reaching stardom was like just not an idea. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that. Already experimenting with things. This is a question I ask all the time, and it's something that I kind of think about. What drives you to keep creating even when it feels like no one pays attention?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember this. You sent me this. That hits pretty hard.
Yeah.
Um, but it just this is a constant question of like why, right? Because yeah, not to get too philosophical, but for me personally, it's just I'm compelled to,
Hmm.
like, I always have, and it just every time I'm writing or creating, um, it just brings me the deepest sense of satisfaction and joy that of any aspect of my life.
Hmm.
And so it's kind of like, why would I deny myself of that? It's like something special that maybe not everybody, non-creatives might not know what that feeling is like. But
Wow. Okay. That was
you know,
really well put. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry if I cut you
no, no,
off.
no, 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 not at all. This should be a conversation. That's like the best part.
Yes.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
but yeah, the one, I was talking to my creative partner. Shout out to Josh Ream. He's helped me write a lot of really great songs, and
Amazing.
he and I have I have this theory, and he agrees. We had this conversation just recently about like, you know, we kind of feel that creation is the meaning of life, and we could get into that, but the
Ooh,
process
I love that.
of bringing something new into reality. It just brings such a sense of fulfillment to the creator.
Mm.
At least, that's my experience. Maybe other people don't have that, but getting it on the page, getting it on the canvas, getting it recorded correctly, and like to your whatever your standard is at that time, it just really means a lot. So, even though people don't listen, it's like it's just what you have to. You can't stop. Not that you can't stop. You could stop, but it's just like, why? I'm not gonna. This is who I am, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. What you said there, why would I deny myself that?
Mm.
That is like that gave me chills. Like that is such a very special and unique way to think about it because I never it that never clicked with me. Like
Mm.
it's something I personally love to do.
Mm.
And just because someone doesn't listen to it or they see my ad for it and they don't click on it, that's that shouldn't affect me. It
It's tough though.
it is tough. You're
That's
right. It
tough.
is. It is. And I mean I've posted many things and one or two likes on them. And it is hard, but it shouldn't be a deterrent. So I just really like that line.
Yeah. Well, life is complicated, and um, it gets more and more complicated as you go and add
Hmm.
things to it and add layers. And so it's easy to turn that off. It's easy to you could easily say like I don't have time for this anymore, or I don't want to. Like it's distracting from this other thing. Like compartmentalizing and just like understanding what you're going to do with your time and what you're going to do with your life, I suppose. But and life can be hard and life can be troublesome. And so if you have that outlet, right? If you have that ability to bring that for yourself, like it's not dependent on someone else, it's just it's a special ability. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. So was there a specific moment that you knew music was more than a hobby?
Yeah. Short answer, no. Right.
Okay.
It's just kind of always been something that no matter what I'm doing in my life, even like when I was touring or working on Broadway or like um, with a job or something, it was all the creation side and the artistic side was always like my real life. And
Mm.
like even if I was being successful in music, it was kind of unrelated to being an artist because it's kind of separate, even though it's like in the same realm. But it was always like I can't wait to get back to that. Like I'm doing this to be able to do that. I'm always doing something to be able to be an artist and create and write. So it was always something. It's always been something that like yeah, that's who I am and that's what I do, and all this other stuff is just to support that, I suppose.
That's a great answer. So yes, I did actually want to ask, someone asked me this question recently,
Mm,
what are you most proud of? And
mm,
it was kind of a surface level question sounding like to me, but then I realized how deep it can actually be. Kind of thinking back on your life so far and really realizing how much you have done. So I like to ask that question kind of as a reflective uh portion of the podcast, I guess.
yeah, were they asking you? They were asking you specifically,
Yes.
or were they asking you to like ask that
So
to people on the podcast?
no, they asked me specifically. I was on the phone with them. They asked me that one, and then they asked me another one. How do you
Mm,
define success? Which I also have in here.
uh-huh.
Uh, so two pretty hard questions,
Yeah.
but yeah, they asked me specifically, and I was like, okay, those are great questions. I'm gonna have to get back to you in like 5 minutes on that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that
But
I'm
yeah,
I'm glad you sent those questions over because there was a little like, I was able to just take a couple notes and like because some of these are pretty, some of these are deep. So,
yeah. I
um,
mean, I like to send them over because I know if I was in your shoes and getting asked that question, I would really appreciate to have those beforehand.
well, yeah, just like a couple minutes to
Yeah.
put it together. Um, yeah. So, repeat the question actually.
Yeah, so just basically what are you most proud of?
Right. Yeah, I see what you mean. Because it is kind of, it can be broad, it can be reflective. Um,
Hmm.
um, I have a couple things actually. One is uh, a song, a new song that I'm actually kind of foolishly sitting on. That it's a ballad called Heart,
Okay.
and it's a song that I'm actually the most proud of any song I've ever written. And it came to me like this is gonna sound bizarre, but it came to me in a dream. Like it totally, I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, I have this, the lyric, the melody, the chords. It's all going through my
Wow.
head, and I like it was like early in the morning. I woke up and I was like, oh, I have to go write this down. And periodically you'll have like a ditty going through your head or something when you wake up, and I'll try to write those down as much as possible. But
Hmm.
this opportunity, this time, this song, it was all there. And so I was like, that's so crazy. It's like the whole Paul McCartney story about yesterday. He like had the whole song. It was the
Hmm.
whole song complete, and he had it in his head, and he kind of wrote it down. This is just the chorus. Like it was the chorus, and a
Okay.
little bit of the verse, like a little like whispering of the verse. But I remember I felt really good about it. Like it felt like a real song. I felt good about it, and then I showed it to my writing partner, um, Josh, and then my manager, and they both I like kind of looked at each other and were like, this is something different. This is different.
Mm.
It sounds more mature. Like where it sounds like where you're trying to go in
Wow.
in
Okay.
in your sound, right? And just like who you are as an artist and the music you make. And so we've all kind of agreed like it needed some special treatment and stuff. So, that took a while to really get right, because I really wanted to just be as good as I could possibly do, and not like perfect, because that's a whole other thing. But I wanted to give it the treatment it deserved, like the song, the treatment it deserved, and it's there, and it's mixed and mastered, and I'm kind of sitting on it like, and I probably should just put it out because I'm so happy with it. But
Mhm.
so I'm very proud of that. But like if we're talking about reflective, um, my touring experience, my Broadway experience, that was I'm super proud of that. Was able to get on the cover of the arts section of the New York Times. Just kind of
Oh,
fun,
nice.
fun things, fun life perks when you're in the arts, right? It's like that kind of stuff. It's nice, nice to have.
Yeah.
And then as they get older, I have two little kiddos. As they get older, it's like I'm more and more proud of them than almost anything in my life, even, including music.
Mm.
So that's been that's worth a whole podcast on its own. But but yeah, kind
Well,
of
that's awesome.
just to give you too much information.
No, there's not enough information.
Yeah,
There can't be enough information. Um, but yeah, so for those listening, make sure you follow him so you can hear his new song Heart when it drops. You said Heart,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Heart.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out like maybe if people want to chime in or anything like. Should I release it as soon as possible? I'm kind of thinking like I want to put some kind of marketing behind it. It's like you put up a song and where does it go? What does it do? And it's like, man, all this work.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of me that's like, I'm gonna put together a really solid plan and then release it like beginning of 2026. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, if anybody has any suggestions, please reach out.
Please, yeah, I would love to get comments on that. My opinion, I think that I know I would love to hear it, but it sounds like it really does deserve time. So I think holding on to it and marketing it, promoting it would give it the attention that it deserves.
No, I love that. No, I think you're right. It's like it, life is full of little moments like that. You identify something that's like this is important. It's like you go through your day and sure things are important, things are not, but there are moments in your life where you're like, I should pay attention to that, and I should
Hmm.
kind of treat it with some respect because maybe not other people care about it, or I release it and like put a bunch of money behind it, for example, and nothing happens. It's like whatever. It's and then that goes back to it's like I'm super proud of it. So That's the way
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. So that previously when I was talking about that new episode I haven't released, it's kind of similar situation.
Mm,
It's it's not an interview, it's just me, but I'm the it's one of the things I'm the most proud of in terms of the podcast. And
that's cool.
I really am actually sitting on it because I don't know, it doesn't feel right to release it yet. I don't
Hmm.
know. It's hard
I
to
know what you mean.
explain, but
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I know exactly what you're talking about. Well, and then you hear people talk about like even bigger artists or people that are blowing up or currently or whatever. People talk about just put it out. The
Hmm.
the thing that you're the most proud of or that you're the most precious about might not be the thing that people love, or it's the thing that gets you the attention that you're looking for. It's like maybe that's the episode that gets you the viewers. You know what I
Very
mean?
good
It's
point.
like you put that out and it's like, oh, that's the one that helped me kind of get to the next tier of getting the word out. But
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it is. It is. And talking about people who are blowing up right now, I that Benson Boone story is insane to me.
Mm.
How he's blown up from going to competing on the I think it was American Idol to now like being on performing at the Grammys and at Coachella. I don't know though. A lot of people have hate on him for they don't like his music.
I should probably listen to more of it. I haven't checked out enough,
Okay,
to
okay.
to kind of. It's like there's so many artists and so much music to look out for.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that I should. Maybe I'm a little embarrassed not to know enough about his material.
No,
Um,
I don't think you should be.
uh, you know, it, it's kind of like people like. It's tricky, people like what they like. I finally listened through to the entire Sabrina Carpenter record. What,
Okay.
a couple weeks ago,
I
and
haven't done that.
it's I there's things I absolutely love about it, and then there's like the overly sexualized stuff. Is like
Yeah.
I could go without it. So, but
100%.
people are, she's fantastic. She's a great singer. Jack did an amazing job on the production. I like the songs a lot. So, I know we're talking about Benson Boone, but it just kind of speaks to like what people like or
Hmm.
what culture likes.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of edge. What is the Benson Boone vibe? Actually, I might as well ask you.
So that's actually kind of hard to pinpoint because he just pivoted a little bit. Before it was very, you know, of Imagine Dragons.
Hmm.
So he
Yeah.
actually is signed on their record, if I'm correct, or label, and one of Imagine Dragons producers produces his music. So it sounds very
Hmm.
similar to that. It's kind of
Okay.
very poppy,
Yeah.
also kind of cinematic.
Yeah.
He just released his new album though, uh, this morning,
Oh,
called American Heart, and I listened to the whole thing. Like I stayed up until like 1 o'clock to listen to it. But it's that one is a little bit more of a pivot. I'm not really able to pinpoint the genre right now because it's very unique. It has some R&B, but also major pop vibes to it. So it's
well, shoot!
and
If it
this
came out today, yeah, I'll have to check it out. I got to take it for a spin. Like there's my list of things to listen to is just huge and never ending, and
same.
it's not even like modern. It's like all these bands from all eras. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
this guy, oh, that band. This. So yeah, I'll add it to my list. Thank you for that. No,
sounds good. I am like that. I listen to too much music. My Spotify like songs has over 3,000 like
yeah,
songs in
nice.
it.
Yeah,
So
right.
um yeah, okay. I don't want to run out the time because I do have some more questions. This one, I guess, is also kind of reflective. So your music, the way I would describe it is like it blends retro pop with like modern alt vibes. I don't know if that's how you feel about it, but who are some artists who kind of shape that you listen to who shape that sound?
No, I love um putting influences into the music. I just love it. It's like, okay, I have another song that I'm again kind of sitting on, but in the session I was like, oh, we need an organ, quarter note organ, just like this Beach Boys track. So I'm not afraid of at all of being like referential or whatever, but that's I think it's great that you picked up on the kind of retro pop, how far we're going back, but I love 90s alt rock and alt pop, like New Radicals and Third Eye Blind and The Verve. I'm just some of my favorite music. Even the single cover for Secondhand Emotion was just kind of taken from the New Radicals album cover, just this yellow. And then of course, like I'm just semi recently and pretty late, I'm just fallen head over heels in love with the 1975. They're fantastic, and they do everything that I would want a song to do. Like when I'm listening to it, it's like subconsciously I'm always thinking about how I would approach a piece of music. And every time I hear a new track, or like in discovering their old discography, it's always been like, yes, these are all the decisions that I would probably make as well. Like this all makes sense to me. It all just kind of tracks and lines up. Caroline Polachek is fantastic. She's just so amazing and kind of more art based and art house, but she's just so great. But then, I really get into 80s. I'm sure you hear an 80s sound like Peter Gabriel, Sting, Seal, Phil Collins, all those 80s. Maybe Huey Lewis to a lesser extent, but I'm a huge fan. Let's put the Beatles aside. Like the Beatles, top to bottom, is the number one. Let's just forget it. But let's just assume all that. But I learned how to play. I learned music as a jazz big band drummer. Like that's how I learned what music was, what music is, how to play. And so in my harmony and my rhythm, I really like to take jazz influences, especially like weird stuff like 80s Miles. Thad Jones Meloose is some of my favorite music of all time. Freddie Hubbard, it's maybe less so traditional like trad jazz, but more soul funk fusion based stuff. But yeah, Freddie Hubbard. James Brown, one of my favorite quotes ever, and I cite this a lot when I'm in production, is everything should be a drum. So the guitars should be super rhythmic. I love that. And, the harmony, the melody should have rhythm to it that pops and bounces. And of course the drums doing their thing. I usually write from bass. Like I'll have a drum track, but the bass line is a melody, like the Paul McCartney kind of world of composition. It's like the bass holds a melody that creates a lot of the vibe.
Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I don't know, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, but that's a long list of people.
I could go on. Talking Heads, Bob Marley. Actually, just to note, like I know it's kind of like eye roll, white guy Bob Marley and all that stuff, but I mean it's just the rhythm and the amount of just like sacred science that has to occur when like 10 people are on stage and making this one rhythm happen in this just immensely deep way. Like, aside from Bob's messaging and just kind of his whole vibe being out front, it's like the band is just the tightest band ever. Kind of coming back to the next generation of the James Brown, like everything's a drum and everything's locked in and everything's so tight. It's like people don't realize how tight Bob Marley was and how world changing it was because the band was so freaking good.
You might be thinking, what a weird place to end the episode. And that is a very valid thought. But now there is an incentive for you to follow the podcast so you know when his next episode releases. I get a secondhand emotion coming close. The way you move your body's rubbing off on me. I get a secondhand emotion out of control.
We were driving westbound, East Burnside, caught a copper flyby, doing 85. She throwing fingernails like a feather in a pillow fight. She's a true hellraiser, but I don't mind. Hit a Cuban bar for a couple mojitos. She put Huey on the jukebox. It's a 45. I'm wrapped around her finger like it's orange on a Cheeto night. And I don't drink rum, but I caught her vibe. I get a secondhand emotion coming close. The way you move your body's rubbing off on me. I get a secondhand emotion out of control. I'm addicted to the contact high, and I'm overdosing. Brainwash over me, want you to brainwash over me. Brainwash over me, want you to brainwash over me. Headed to your bedroom, watching the telly. Kim and Andy Cohen make me go out of my mind. And then I see your face glowing in the television light. You're all wrong, and I swear I never wanna be right. I get a secondhand emotion coming close. The way you move your body's rubbing off on me. I get a secondhand emotion out of control. I'm addicted to the contact high. I get a secondhand emotion coming close. The way you move your body's rubbing off on me. I get a secondhand emotion out of control. I'm addicted to the contact high.
Well, that was the first part of Mitch's 3-part series. I really hope you enjoyed it and maybe got some new perspectives to think about. Wishing you all a great and successful week. Don't forget to follow the podcast. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok, here on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Until next time, David out.